Nobody warned her that power would feel this lonely. And nobody warned me that saying yes to one desperate request would set fire to everything I thought I knew about love. New York City was supposed to be the dream, but for Amelia Hart, it had turned into a glass prison. At 32, she was the youngest female CEO of a tech empire that the press worshipped and her board barely tolerated. Every morning she painted herself in armor. A navy suit, heels that clicked like threats, a smile sharp enough to cut through boardroom bullshit. Yet every night, she came home to silence so loud it could drown her. That silence was the reason I was standing outside her office door at 9 p.m. on a Friday. Me, Claire Bennett, her assistant, the one who scheduled her meetings, guarded her from overeager journalists, and memorized her coffee order down to the half shot of espresso she swore she needed to survive. I thought this was going to be another long night of calendar reshuffling and crisis calls. I thought wrong. Claire. Amelia's voice was low, almost trembling. When I stepped in, she wasn't behind her desk. She was by the window, her blazer draped over a chair, her silk blouse clinging to her as though the weight of the world had finally cracked her perfect posture. I need a favor. Now, when your boss is one of the most powerful women in America, you don't expect the next words out of her mouth to be, "Pretend to be my girlfriend tomorrow." I blinked, my brain short-circuiting. "Excuse me." She laughed bitterly, running a hand through her dark hair. "There's this charity gala. Investors, politicians, the press, it's going to be a circus. My ex will be there with her new fiancé, and the board is breathing down my neck about optics. If I show up alone, they'll smell blood." Her gaze caught mine, sharp yet vulnerable. "I need you to play the part. Just for one night." My heart was doing backflips, but not for the reasons you'd think. I had spent 2 years watching her command rooms, silence critics, and somehow looked devastatingly beautiful while doing it. But she was my boss. Off limits. A fantasy I never let myself indulge in past the safety of midnight thoughts. And now she was asking me to hold her hand in front of half of Manhattan's elite. "Amelia, I faltered, searching for the right word. Dangerous? Insane? Heartbreaking? That's not exactly in my job description." She smirked, but it didn't reach her eyes. "Consider it. Hazard pay." Then softer, almost a whisper. "Please. Just this once." And God help me, I said yes. The gala was held in a marble palace masquerading as a hotel ballroom, chandeliers glittering like they'd been dipped in stars. As Amelia and I stepped inside, the air shifted. Conversations stilled, cameras flashed, and every eye turned to her. Except this time she wasn't alone. Her hand slipped into mine, warm and steady, and suddenly I wasn't her assistant anymore. I was her lover, her anchor, the woman who got to stand beside her as equals, if only for a night. The performance should have been easy: smiles, whispered jokes, a hand on her arm. But when her fingers traced circles on the back of my hand under the table, when she leaned close to brush her lips near my ear as if sharing a secret, it stopped feeling like acting. My body reacted first, a shiver down my spine, heat rushing to my face. My heart was next, beating against my ribs as if it had been waiting for this moment all along. Then came the test. Her ex arrived in a blaze of diamonds and arrogance, clinging to a fiancé who looked 10 years younger and just as hungry for attention. They sauntered over, their words coated in sugar and venom. Amelia squeezed my hand so tightly I thought she might shatter me, then smiled, that smile polished, ruthless, unshakable. "This is Claire," she said smoothly, her gaze daring anyone to challenge her. "My girlfriend." Should have been a lie. But the way her voice lingered on the word, the way her thumb brushed across my knuckles as if grounding herself, something shifted. For the first time I wasn't sure if she was faking it. Neither was I. The night blurred after that. Toasts, dancing, laughter that wasn't forced. At one point, under the golden glow of the chandeliers, Amelia pulled me close for a slow dance. Her hand rested against my back, her forehead almost touching mine. The world around us faded until it was just her eyes, dark and full of questions I didn't know how to answer. "You're good at this," she whispered. "Good at what?" My voice trembled. "Making me forget." I didn't ask what she needed to forget. Her loneliness? Her exhaustion? The ache of watching someone else move on? All I knew was that in that moment she wasn't a CEO and I wasn't her assistant. We were just two women swaying under borrowed starlight, both terrified and both unwilling to let go. When the gala finally ended, we stumbled back into the city night, heels clicking against the sidewalk, adrenaline still thrumming through us. The limo waited, but Amelia didn't move toward it. Instead, she stopped beneath a streetlight, the halo of it wrapping around her like some kind of fragile armor. "Claire," she said, and my name in her voice was softer than I'd ever heard it. "I don't want this to end." My breath caught. "It doesn't have to." Her hand found my cheek, tentative, almost trembling. I knew I should have stepped back, reminded her this was a performance, that Monday morning we'd go back to normal. But there was nothing normal about the way her lips hovered a breath away from mine, the city roaring around us, daring us to leap. So when she kissed me, I let her. And it didn't feel like pretending at all. The kiss should have been the end of it. A moment of weakness, explained away by champagne and exhaustion, forgotten by the time Monday came. That's what I told myself as the city hummed around us and Amelia's lips still lingered on mine. But the truth? It felt like the beginning of something I wasn't ready to name. She pulled back first, her eyes searching mine with an intensity that left me breathless. For once, Amelia Hart, the unshakable CEO. The woman who silenced rooms with a glance, looked unsure. Vulnerable. Human. Claire. Her voice was rough, caught between apology and confession. This wasn't supposed to happen. I forced a laugh I didn't feel. "You mean kissing your assistant outside a gala at midnight wasn't part of the business plan?" The corner of her mouth twitched, but her gaze stayed serious. "You know what I mean." And I did. She had her empire, her reputation, her walls built sky high. I had my boundaries, my pride, my heart that had just been cracked open. Pretending was safe. This, whatever this was, wasn't. So I nodded, swallowing the ache in my chest. Right. Just one night. But the lie settled between us like a splinter. Too small to ignore, too sharp to forget. The days that followed were brutal in their normalcy. Back to scheduling calls, drafting speeches, blocking out her calendar so she wouldn't collapse. Amelia slipped easily into her old armor, efficient and untouchable, like nothing had happened. Except something had. Every time our hands brushed passing a file, every time her eyes lingered a second too long on mine during a meeting, every time silence stretched between us in the elevator, I felt it. So did she. But neither of us dared to speak it aloud. The breaking point came 2 weeks later. It was midnight again, the office empty except for the two of us. I was typing furiously at my desk when Amelia's door opened. She didn't say a word, just leaned against the frame, her silhouette illuminated by the city beyond her window. "You're still here," I said softly. "So are you." Her voice carried something I hadn't heard before. Weariness edged with longing. She stepped closer, her heels silent on the carpet, until she was standing in front of my desk. "Claire," she whispered, "do you ever get tired of pretending?" The words cut straight through me. I pushed back my chair, forcing myself to meet her eyes. "All the time." For a moment, neither of us moved. Then she reached for me, and this time I didn't hesitate. Her hands framed my face as though I might vanish, and when she kissed me again, it wasn't tentative. It was desperate, hungry, alive. I kissed her back like I had been holding my breath for years. Loving Amelia Hart was not easy. She was fire and steel, brilliance wrapped in exhaustion. A woman who had taught herself to survive in a world that wanted her to fail. She worked 16-hour days, guarded every vulnerability like state secrets, and flinched whenever anyone got too close. But at night, when the city quieted and her armor cracked, I saw the truth. The way her laugh softened when she let go of control. The way she clung to me in the dark, as though afraid I might leave. The way she whispered "stay" like it was the most dangerous word she knew. We didn't call it a relationship. We didn't call it anything. But it grew fragile and fierce, until hiding became impossible. The storm broke at a board meeting. Her ex was there, of course. She was gloating in the corner, still thriving off Amelia's every stumble. One of the directors made a sly comment about Amelia's personal distractions affecting her leadership, and I felt her stiffen beside me. The knives were out. Before I could stop myself, I spoke. "If by distractions you mean the fact that she's been running this company on 4 hours of sleep and still manages to outperform every one of you, then yes, she's distracted. By keeping all of you afloat." The room went silent. Amelia's head whipped toward me, eyes blazing with equal parts fury and something I couldn't name. But for once she didn't silence me. She let me stand beside her, not as an assistant, but as someone who belonged. When the meeting ended, she pulled me into her office and shut the door so hard the glass rattled. "Do you have any idea what you just did?" she hissed. "Yes," I shot back. "I stood up for you. Because God forbid anyone in this company actually remembers you're human." Her hands clenched into fists, and for a moment I thought she might explode. Instead, she exhaled, the fight draining out of her. "You could lose your job. Then fire me," I whispered. "But you can't keep pushing me away and pulling me back like this. I can't be your escape one night and your employee the next. I want more, Amelia. Either we stop this now, or you admit you want it too." Silence. My heart pounded so loud I could hear it in my ears. "Then finally I do," she said, broken and raw. "I want you, Claire. I just don't know how to do this without losing everything." I stepped closer, my voice steady. "Then let me help you carry it. You don't have to choose between your world and me." For the first time she believed me. It wasn't a fairy tale. There were headlines, whispers, pushback from the board. Amelia had to fight harder than ever to prove she could lead and love without losing her edge. I had to navigate the line between partner and professional, learning when to stand beside her and when to step back. But we made it work. Months later, on a quiet morning in Central Park, Amelia and I sat on a bench with coffee cups warming our hands. The city roared around us, but for once it didn't feel like it was devouring her. She leaned against my shoulder, the sharp lines of her suit replaced with a softness she rarely let the world see. "You saved me that night," she murmured. "At the gala?" I teased. She shook her head. "No. Every night since." I kissed her hair, smiling against the crown of her head. "Good. Because I'm not planning on stopping." And in that moment, with her hand entwined in mine and the city stretching out before us, I knew. This wasn't pretending anymore. This was forever. Thank you for listening. Like and subscribe to get notifications about next videos.